right, Mike and Jeff here with Essential Outfitters. We're going to do a go-to rod review. What's going to be your go-to rod?
Go-to rod, it would be a jig rod. I throw a G Loomis, and it is a 7.5. I like it. This is actually the GCX. These are in the mid 200s, I think. I don't think you got to spend $600 or $700. I catch a ton of fish on this. I throw it on a Revo, and it's usually a 7. This one's my jig rod would be an 8 1-to-1, because the idea is that you got to catch up with that fish. It's a very versatile rod. You can throw swim jigs on it. You can throw a lot of different things on a rod like this. You can fish it year round. Primarily 17-pound fluoro. Go all the way down to 12, 15. Throw lighter stuff, and you can go up to the mid 20s. That would be my go-to if I only had one rod, but I don't. I have a ton. In the fall, summer, and spring, I'm always gonna have a chatterbait rod. I throw bluegill color typically this time of year. All through the warm months, I'll throw a white and chartreuse color with a little bit of red. It's the Evo, but this is the G Loomis IMX Pro. Really been impressed with this rod, and typically I will fluctuate between 17 and 20 fluoro and braid. I throw a lot of braid. Where we kind of primarily fish, we're fishing around grass and a lot of wood and lily pads. And then another rod that I'm gonna have year round is a jerkbait rod. The Jerk from St. Croix, it's their Victory line. It's a pretty good rod. There's a handful of unbelievably good jerkbait rods. I also have one that I throw on a spinning reel. It's the new Bega Bass. I've been really impressed with that. But I'm gonna throw a jerkbait year round. I'm gonna throw a jig year round. Chatterbait, maybe not so much in the winter. I don't have as much success. I know a lot of people, but once that water temperature gets up in the mid 50s, all the way through the end of the season, till the winter starts, I throw a lot of chatterbait. So those would be my 3 kind of go-to. In the summer, I'm always gonna have a frog rod, always.
All right, so the go-to for me is always a Zebco 33.
Is that the tactical?
Yeah, it's tactical.
The 33 tactical.
I mean,
unbelievable.
The price point on this at Walmart is like $33 or something too. That's why it's
got
Zebco
the
33.
big button.
I mean,
so in windy, wet conditions, you can always hit that. Yeah.
So it doesn't scare the fish.
Yeah. No, the 33 tacticals.
The gloss. Yeah.
You're still going to find that in a lot of pros.
And it's got this movable. You can move this.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, nice foam.
Yeah, it's a good rod.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this out.
I like the 33 tactical.
All right, now the go-to for me is a jig. So we got these new baits from a guy here locally, John. Bottom Up Baits.
Yeah, Bottom Up Baits he's got some new plastic that's incredible. We will be sending out information on how to get a hold of him.
Yeah, so I just been throwing creature baits on a jig head. If I could change this up, I would probably just go with straight, fluoro all the way.
I think you see now, though, I would kind of like that you do that. You see now that almost everybody on spinning rods goes to braid to a fluoro leader, and that's so you don't have to deal with all that memory in there. And you can leave this on year round because it doesn't get memory. Braid to a leader on all of their spinning setups, and you see more and more. I know forward-facing sonar is a big deal now, and this is we're kayak fishing, so the spinning reels are really easy to control in a kayak and cast, and a lot of good feeling.
Yep, it's really reliable. I don't ever have a whole lot of foul ups with this, and this is just the Carbolite from Bass Pro.
You've got several of their line. You've been really happy with their lineup.
Their rods are really good. Now, I don't throw as long as Jeff does, so 7.2 is the longest rod I have. This isn't the Signature series, it's just the Carbolite.
Yeah.
But one good thing about these rods here, when we live here right in Springfield, is if something goes wrong with this, take it straight up to Bass Pro.
Yep.
It don't matter if I break a tip or break an eyelet, they're replacing it for free, and I've got a new rod same day. So this is a Daiwa Regal LT3000. It's got a lot of capacity there for the braid, and I don't have to spend a ton of money to get a really good reel, but I don't have to go bottom line like the old Zebco 33.
Braid, you can get away with a little bit bigger spool because you're not wasting so much money on re-spooling all the time. And like I said, you know, it can sit on that spool for quite a while. And
then the other one,
this is what I think of you when I think of your go-to is a you throw a
Senko wacky style, again on the Bass Pro Carbon Light rod, but this is just a 6.6 medium heavy fast. Yeah. And then the reel setup is again the Carbon Light reel from Bass Pro. This is a smaller capacity, so it's really lightweight tackle. Again, I don't have to worry about a whole lot of foul ups with it. Again, if there's any issues with this, if for some reason I break it, or if I break the bail or whatever here one of these times, again, I just roll it right into Bass Pro and I'm going to get it replaced same day. And caught a lot of fish on this setup last summer. Hopefully you're going to catch a lot more this summer.
And you just got a new reel from them on one of your bait casters, and they're running a deal now where you can bring in an old reel and
whatever condition it's in. So
and they donate those to people who need them.
Yeah, I mean the Zebco 33 here could see its way into Bass Pro these days, and then we get $30.
I don't know about that though. I mean, that's a staple. I mean, that's yeah. So just kind of a little bit about kind of go-tos, and Mike is a little more sensible in a kayak. He'll carry 6, 8 maybe, and I'll pile them on a lot of times, and you get down to the end of the day and you just use 3, but I always have a cranking rod. I kind of went to try to the glass rods this year. I did not like it. I had some issues with the rods and had to return them, but I didn't like the feeling. So a composite glass or just the the regular graphite is kind of what I've been throwing forever and really used to. There's a lot of really good cranking rods out there. I went with the G Loomis. This shows you too, and they're really expensive, $100.
120 usually.
Yeah.
I mean, but then they run sales from time to time.
Yeah, and I think if you're a member, you can get them a little bit cheap. So you can pick these up for 100, and they're doesn't matter what rod you buy from them, but these $100 rods have as good, if not better, of a return policy.
They'll try to sell you on getting the warranty, but you don't need it because it's a Bass Pro brand, and if something goes wrong with it, you're going to return it anyway.
And if you're like me, I break eyes off all the time. I step on them, I break them, I throw them in the water, and it's a lot easier pill to swallow to go replace a $100 rod than it is a $400 or $500 rod. Last year, I threw chatterbaits primarily on a 7.6 medium heavy. Just casting rod. I think it was that Jacob Wheeler Ducket. But there's a lot of different ways to go around about it. And the great thing about it is now you have TikTok. I get on there still today and try to figure out line and leader and some of these things that the pros are doing, because they fine tune that stuff to a point. I don't want to use that brain power. I want somebody else to use that brain power and me just to steal that information. And there's a lot of really great rods out there that'll work for 5 or 6 or 7 different things, and you don't want to have to carry 12 rods all the time.
Yeah, you want to stay pretty versatile, and that way if you need to change something out, you can do it on the fly and not have to worry about retying a bunch of stuff or setting up a whole nother rod while you're in your kayak. So
we're going to do some more kind of rod and reel setups as the year goes on. We're just firing the YouTube channel back up. We've got some kind of big things coming, kind of teaming up with Ozark Mountain Trading Company. It's where we've been buying our kayaks forever. Larry, the owner, is incredible. I really wouldn't buy from anybody else. I think anytime you can buy local in those mom and pop stores and those things like that, you're at an advantage already. But we've got a lot of really exciting stuff coming up. We've got some new kayaks this year. This week we're going to try to shoot some of those. We've got a lot of new gadgets, trailers. We've kind of been out for a while, but we're getting ready to kick it back off and see how that goes. So.